Welcome to the Verdict Verdict. We have a special NBA Finals recap edition. It's also the Father's Day edition, so I wanted to shout out all the fathers. I also wanted to shout out a new father, Steph Curry. You know, he had added another child to the family, the Boston Celtics. Steph Curry is now your father forever. Maybe even, Draymond Green might be the stepfather, but that series went down in flames. We got the biggest Boston Celtics fan in the country in the house. Yeah. And he's repping that Celtic green right now, as you can see.
No Celtic green, man.
Nah, he had to take it down, man. He's ashamed of his team. He's ashamed of everyone in Boston. What do you think about the NBA Finals, man? What happened?
It was looking good for a little while, but man, like you said, it fizzled out real quick. Real quick. Once the Warriors turned that heat up, I guess you could say, it was over with, man.
Yeah, my thing with the Celtics was just the fact that they didn't have that experience yet. I wanted to know what would happen when someone bit them.
Yeah.
And, at times they bit back, but also at other times it kind of just became insurmountable for them. But look, that's just the nature of it. That's just it just goes to show that, inexperience in a series plays a big role in a lot of things. You need to be there between the ears. You need to make sure that you got the right guys on the court at the right time as well, and I think Boston might have had some issues with that here and there.
I feel like that became visible at some point. They just had a hard time keeping up with the Warriors, man. They were, going up and forth the court. They did a really good job on defense, but then whenever it started to translate onto the offensive side of the court, it really looks like they struggled.
Yeah, I don't know really what happened with Jason Tatum, but from the previous two series, compared to the finals, it just was a completely different player. He almost looked like a shell of himself, man. There's a lot of memes ripping him apart on the internet right now. It's just weird to me because Jason Tatum seems to be like one of the potential stars of the future, and he just doesn't really have that it factor about him in terms of confidence or just the way he presents himself. Do you think Jason Tatum's going to be able to bounce back from this and, maybe learn from it, or will this might be a crippling moment for him?
I think he can bounce back. I think, that he had good experience in the finals. The long road through the playoffs. They played some good teams. And like you said, in the previous series, he did do pretty good. So I feel like next season, he'll hopefully learn from what he did in the finals and bring it back to, hopefully bring the Celtics back to the playoffs, man.
It would be nice to see the Celtics back. I seen there was a kind of interaction after the Game 6 loss for Boston. Draymond Green went over to Grant Williams and pretty much told him, y'all will be back for sure. That just was a good, respect given from someone who I guess most people wouldn't expect to be given respect to that team would be Draymond Green. Draymond's kind of the tough guy of the league, especially in the championship series, as he always kind of comes out and just gets brutal. He's got that old smash mouth, kind of Gary Payton style of basketball.
Yeah, real physical.
And he's really loud. He's really annoying, and it just throws people off. I like Draymond Green's game, and I like the Warriors game in general. I've been calling them the bus all year because it's just like, man, when they get going, you're not stopping them. You gotta wait for them to not be at their best, and that's just the best way to put it. To beat the Warriors, you're gonna have to have them have someone injured. You're gonna have to get have them on an off night.
Right.
You can't beat the Warriors, or at least I haven't seen a team piece together a run when they're both at their best, that the Warriors don't come out on the other side of it. There's a lot of, I guess that's basketball in general. You don't always get two teams playing at their best, but at the same time, I haven't seen anything like the Golden State Warriors in a long time.
Oh, yeah. There's something special, man. They'll go in there, and like you said, if they're having a good night, and, they'll shoot you right out the building,
Because even, like, I guess, quote-unquote, dynasty potential teams, like, the big three were in Miami, they could have been something great, and they weren't. And that's LeBron James. That's Dwayne Wade. That's some all-time greats in there. Chris Bosh, was pretty good.
Right.
But now you got this Warriors team who can go hit rock bottom, hit the lowest of lows, go from losing the playoff or playing game last year. Steph Curry says, y'all don't want to see us next year. Boom, here comes next year. Now he's hoisting up a trophy and his first finals MVP. Steph Curry really played with a chip on his shoulder. And if there's one thing that you haven't learned about Steph Curry, it's going to be that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And when he does, he balls out. Anytime Steph Curry is told he can't do something or that he's not going to be able to do this or that, He always goes ball out. He got his college offer pretty much despite being told that he was too small, or he was too this, he was too that, one-dimensional even. Goes to Golden State, then he's, criticized for the longevity problems and just the ankle injuries in general. People thought he was just kind of a paper player.
Yeah.
And he kind of bought in, like with that chip on his shoulder, like we said, and became the best at something. That scheme with Steve Kerr complimented him well. The brains of the organization at the top kept the team together. They kept guys coming in and out. Like, look, there's a lot of good nuances to basketball and building a team and being able to identify where a hole or a flaw is in a team quickly and fill that hole with someone who's going to be efficient and not going to drain you in other areas. Andrew Wiggins was a perfect fit for Golden State. Many people didn't see it. Many people questioned it. A lot of people questioned Andrew Wiggins as a player. They questioned how he would fit in the scheme. They just questioned a lot of things about it. But I think it turned out to be probably one of the better trades that a championship caliber team has made in the more recent years. Andrew Wiggins was, if you have to consider anyone else on the Warriors to win Finals MVP besides Steph, it's Andrew.
Yeah.
He went out there and he showed he's an elite player. He got that confidence back, and I'm thinking, the guys like the Jaylen Browns and the Jason Tatums, if they get on a streak and they get rolling, it's pretty good. The future of the NBA is pretty bright, it seems. We got a lot of good stars coming up. I mean, you got Giannis still. It's just a shame, you got some stars like maybe a Damian Lillard or an Anthony Davis that was just like crippled by a bad team or something, or just injuries or whatever, and they weren't able to fulfill. We thought that would be the future of the NBA, and it's just like their time's almost up.
Yeah, I mean, that is true at this point, man. It's like a plague.
Yeah, their time's almost up, and it's interesting to see the whole forefront of the NBA changing too. Like with Steph Curry winning that 4th NBA championship, getting his first MVP, it solidified him in my book as one of the all-time greats. I mean, I'm putting Steph Curry in my top 10. I was putting Steph Curry in my top 10 before the Finals MVP. With the Finals MVP, he's taking somebody's spot.
Yeah.
Because Steph Curry's influence to the game is so beneficial to not only his team, but teams around him. Like, that's how you know you're really an influential player.
I mean, he changed the whole NBA.
He changed the whole NBA, he changed the whole NCAA, he changed high school sports, he changed basketball, period, no matter what level it's played at, what area, what country. The three-point shot took the world by storm, and I would credit a big portion of that influence to Stephen Curry.
Oh, yeah.
He just completely lit up the world with his uncanny ability. We never seen anybody, pull that off. And that goes to show what type of coach Steve Kerr is. Steve Kerr was able to let his players play their strengths comfortably in that scheme where it would benefit them. And he really let the three-point ball get shown on a pedestal almost. He made it the forefront of the offense. Everything was revolving around it.
Say it centers around the three-point ball.
And the Warriors, they live by the three, they die by the three. When the Warriors can't shoot, they can't win. And we saw that throughout the NBA Finals. But at the same time, when they can, which is pretty often, it's unstoppable, bro. Yeah. You got great offense beating great defense 99% of the time in my book.
Yeah, I mean, that got proven.
The Celtics have, the rim protectors, and they got the physical brutes that are going to put some bruises on the Warriors. But at the end of the day, they just did not have enough firepower because you could only stop these guys so much. Eventually, they're going to start finding holes, or you're going to start lacking on defense or whatnot, and you got to be prepared to answer back. And I think the worst point in the series at any given game would have been that third quarter coming out of halftime. That third quarter, more often than not was in the Warriors' favor. The Warriors were out there swinging. And, some games the Celtics would be able to swing back. Some games they, even when the Warriors put up that 38-point third quarter, the Celtics answered back with a 40-plus.
Right.
But also there was other games where they just completely rolled over.
Yeah. I mean, some of those games were just horrible to watch.
And in a 6-game series, it really makes you think. Boston could have won this.
Yeah, and I honestly thought they were gonna, but those last 2 games, I mean, it was disappointing for sure.
I'm wondering how Boston can move on from this, because now you're gonna have a healthy Milwaukee Bucks. You're gonna have a Miami Heat who's definitely gonna get somebody.
Oh yeah,
the Heat team's gonna be top 3 again. They were number 1 this year, so that's me saying they might not be at their best. So who knows? They could be number 1 again if they get better. Like I said, healthy Milwaukee Bucks team who get Chris Middleton back. They might even add somebody as well. You got the 76ers who might be able to work some out with James Harden. I'm hearing to expect a short-term deal for Harden to stay in Philly. They want to try it out a little more.
Yeah.
That's a threat. What about the Hawks? People forgot about Trae Young. He was just in the playoffs making noise.
That is true.
Wouldn't count him out. Another young superstar in the East, LaMelo Ball and those Hornets. You got a lot of teams now that are starting to creep up in the playoff picture, not necessarily the championship picture, but it just goes to show the Celtics are not alone in terms of being at the cusp. They're going to have to fight hard again next year. So for like an off-season move for them, first off, they're going to need to get everybody healthy.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to need to take care of their injuries because I heard a story about, Robert Williams getting told it was safe to play through his back injury, and it's giving me Isaiah Thomas vibes. It's giving me where they, disregarded his knee and whatnot and completely jeopardized his health. I mean, health in the NBA or health in any sport is a big concern. Players and their bodies and whatnot, it's their number one prized possession. That body's worth, $100 million. So when a player for example, back in 2019 or 2018, the Kawhi Leonard situation with San Antonio, he sits out, he gets, he gets the expert opinion, and there was a conflict of interest with him and the Spurs. He was a Spur through and through, and the Spurs guys stay there for their whole career. Greg Popovich's system is one of the best systems. He's kind of, him and Steve Kerr, the only real Phil Jackson-esque coaches left in the league that have solid jobs forever until they're gone. In the NFL, you see that, but not in the NBA.
Right.
But regardless, it's odd. I don't know. It's just I think that you'd have to really weigh your options if you were the Boston Celtics, and you're gonna have to realize you got to keep your guys healthy. You're gonna have to bite the bullets when the bullets fly. The Warriors were so careful with Klay Thompson, and it obviously worked.
Yeah.
He got to play pretty much every minute he wanted to in this playoffs. Did he play it efficiently? Did he put in as big as a role as we were expecting him to? That's a whole different debate.
Right.
But he was on the court, and that just goes to show he was ready, whatnot. And Isaiah Thomas, though, what happens to him afterwards? It just seems like I wouldn't want to sacrifice a player's long-term ability for a potential I'm not going to say a championship would be a short term, but in the grand scheme of things, you can win 3 championships with Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't win one with him on the court right now. When a player's not healthy, why would you put him on the floor? They're not playing at 100%, so it's not even like they're that player.
It makes sense.
I would rather just get next man up because a lot of backups are fortified, and they're just sitting there waiting for their moment to shine. And Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you got a lot of backups
some great
that
stories
have
coming out of the NFL with that.
Come up and just outshine. I think, I'm not saying they should have rested Jason Tatum fully. I think that they should have allowed for some fluctuation of minutes because he might have played a little too long. Another thing is, I was saying previously before this finals that the Celtics came off of 2 deep series. They played 2 very deep series. Then with the Game 7s, you cannot expect these young kids who don't really have that much deep playoff experience. The Celtics are used to getting swept and bounced in the first round. I mean, look, and then when they make it to the conference finals, they don't even finish it. Now they have an extra series to the finals. This is the furthest they've ever gone, furthest the Celtics have gone in 12 years. And then you expect these kids to go out here and be able to finish the job. It's like a James Harden situation. They burned out. They're tired. You got Jason Tatum scoring 50 points a game, playing 48 minutes against the Heat. I mean, you can't expect Jason Tatum to go out there and just have his legs throughout that. That was my main worry. Sure, the momentum is a big thing, but let's be real. Momentum in basketball turns on a dime. They had momentum. They had even more momentum. They won Game 1. Warriors now are 1-1 in final series where they lost Game 1. Previously, they were 0-1. They might have... that momentum might have sucked all the air out of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, there, like you said, there's the potential for it.
I feel like the Boston Celtics. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they disappointed me because I did expect the Warriors to win, but I really did not think they were gonna crumble that hard. This whole playoffs, I'll be honest, this whole playoffs was weird. I've never seen a playoffs where there was teams so off and on. Teams were always making mistakes. There was a lot of blowouts, a lot of just
every
boring
other game
games.
seemed like a blowout.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time it's the third quarter, some teams up 20. I mean, at that point, you don't want to sit there and watch that for another 30, 40 minutes.
And why is that, though? Is that going to be like because of the three-point ball and now teams are relying on a shot that could either bring them up big because in 4 possessions now you jump 12 points, or in 4 possessions you took the hardest shot on the court, you miss them all, and now you go in a slump. So it seems like those leads are growing and shrinking rapidly because I guess now everyone can shoot.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good perspective, for sure. I really don't know. It seems like just sometimes when that momentum starts to swing, like you said, it's just it seems to just beat up a basketball team. I mean,
yeah, it's getting hard to stay, like you said, stay entertained throughout an NBA game. It
yeah.
seems like the tide turns so fast. And basketball, yeah, leads were changing, but at the same time, you like a back and forth game, especially in the playoffs when you got the two best teams in the league playing each other. There's no reason that there should be 20-0 runs going on. It's just the offense is getting really hard to answer for in this days.
Yeah.
Or in today's NBA. I don't even know what I would do as a head coach having to guard a Steph Curry. Like,
that's a headache all night.
What about an all-star game coach? Like, what would you even be thinking the night before? You just got to have no pressure on yourself. Like, yeah, this is just for the fans.
I was about to say, I feel like if you went into that actually trying to put out a real scheme to win the basketball game, I mean, good night.
Is there any incentive to the all-star team that wins? Do they get money?
Not sure.
I'm wondering if there's any, because, I mean, look, the Pro Bowl, at least in the MLB, at one point, the all-star game determined home field advantage for the World Series. I don't know if it's still like that now. I'm not sure. I'm not the biggest baseball fan in the world, but
that's a cool concept, though.
The NFL is thinking about taking away the Pro Bowl in general because
last Pro Bowl wasn't great.
The two-hand touch, man. It looks like I'm watching like recreational football at a park with some children playing. I'm not really interested to see all that flag football going on.
Yeah, some of the skill stuff's kind of interesting, but I mean, that gets kind of tedious too at the same time.
Yeah, they need to bring back those longest throw and challenges and stuff.
Those are really cool.
That would be cool. Maybe, even put some players through the gauntlet. Like, let's do like a little gauntlet, running back gauntlet, quarterback gauntlet, like a gauntlet series, skill positions.
That would be cool too, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that they can do with it.
We can go ahead and see. Honestly, I would want to take the fastest position players and have them race.
That would be pretty interesting.
That would be cool too. And then there should be another segment in the Pro Bowl where if someone doesn't like their Madden rating, they get to go on a skills combine real quick on all their ratings they want to improve and see if they get fluctuated. Cool, yeah. That would be another good one. What else you got? Man, you could play. Imagine if they played 3 flags up. You had a quarterback and 6 DBs, 6 wide receivers, 3 from each conference. That'd be crazy. See who comes up with that. Man, there'd be concussions all over the place. You would be able to do that. Well, I mean, look, 7-on-7s would even be cool. I mean, look, it's just weird to me that that's the only thing they have is that there's a game with pads and then they're two-hand touching. It's odd.
Yeah.
7-on-7s are all right, but if we're turning into a skills competition, it would be one of the smaller events. I feel like I'm not really big on the NFL Pro Bowl because the NFL Pro Bowl is more like. It just seems more like a practice. At least in the NBA, they actually show off and do crazy things. In the NFL, like for instance, the defenders are handcuffed. They can't do anything. The defenders can't show off their hard hits or how fast they're going to get off the edge and hit somebody or how, you know what I mean? Like, there's not much you can do for half of the players in the Pro Bowl. Special teams players don't really get no love. And, I mean, when do they ever? Pat McAfee's probably, trying to shine some light on that topic, I'm sure. He might want a punt challenge in there. That'd be cool. Field goal. See who can kick the biggest field goal, maybe.
Field goal would be interesting for sure.
I wonder how deep of a field goal I could kick. It'd be rough.
It seems like pretty hard stuff, bro. I don't know about all that.
Maybe 10 yards.
That still seems kind of far.
Nah, I think I can get 10 yards at least.
Hey, you set me up at that 5-yard line, I'm booting that, bro.
That 5-yard line, dude, that's a 12-yard field goal.
Good money. I mean, that's through the uprights.
Bro. I was saying a 10-yard field goal.
Oh,
like a
you're saying 10 yards
like a
from
PAT.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little different now. Yeah. I don't think more than 10 yards. That's true. That's a long field
You were
goal.
going longer.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it like that.
I would, because you're going to actually, where did you say? 5-yard line?
Yeah, that's where I was thinking. But
22-yard field goal, right? Because you're going to count the end zone. That's 10
Right.
yards. You got to count that. 15 and 7 back. That's 22-yard field goal. Buddy, you can kick a 22-yard field goal? Hold on. Look at Pat McAfee's biggest replacement. This is why Pat McAfee left the NFL.
Contract, man.
This is why he left the NFL right here. He didn't want to be able to be outshined by this man.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
Kicking 22-yard field goals his first time out there on the field. That'd be insane. Speaking of the field, man, I'm looking forward to this NFL football. I'm looking forward to the whole season in general. Now that the NBA's done, I kind of turned my brain off for sports during baseball season. It's just not my thing, you know.
Yeah.
But for football, man, I'm less than 80 days roughly for LSU football. Definitely less than 90 for NFL football for sure. We got some interesting stories to keep developing. We're gonna see what the Browns do with Baker Mayfield. They're looking like they're in a situation where they might need another quarterback, so they're probably gonna not trade him out just yet. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm wondering what's going on with that, and I can't believe the 49ers are gonna ride high on Trey Lance already.
Yeah. That's scary.
They seen good things in camp.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
And you got to think, Joe Montana's in the building surveilling this probably. He probably overseen this. Maybe got some advice. If you got one of the greatest, it's the second greatest quarterback of all time. Tom Brady's first. But Joe Montana, good second. He's out there, you know, they're probably wondering, hey, Joe, you think Trey Lance is throwing motion this or that? What about this? Let's put him on a little test. He probably went to a Joe Montana skills camp. And Joe Montana gave him the seal of approval, and now the 49ers are going to go ahead and go on the move with it. And now Jimmy Garoppolo might be out of a job. Or he can transition into, you know, one of the easier jobs in the country, backup quarterback. That'd be pretty cool. I would love to be a backup quarterback, being able to get paid like that. But it would be rough, though, not being, I mean, I guess going through that, the diet, the training and whatnot, not being able to play.
A lot, yeah.
Not being able to play, you might, you know, feel like, man, I want to get out there.
Getting them racks, though.
Imagine, though, like there's a big playoff game and you're chilling. You don't think,
that does suck.
You don't. Well, what if you don't think nothing's gonna happen? You're a backup quarterback in the NFL. You're on the sideline and you're just thinking, man, I got front row seats to this playoff game. Then all of a sudden, boom, starter goes down, and they come get you, and now they throw you in the fire. You're playing the best defense, toughest defensive line. Imagine that feeling. You're gonna be like, man, I gotta be ready, because you went from chilling to crazy. Stressing like that.
Talk about in a second.
Heart attack in a bottle, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is scary stuff, bro.
For injuries in the NFL, it's just, that's rough. It seems like it happens more often than not. You'd be surprised how many people get hurt, like especially these running backs, and that's probably the most viable position in the NFL, because they're taking the hits, they're taking the beatings, they're running a lot. I mean, even their own guys are running into them with their offensive line and whatnot. When I'm drafting fantasy running backs, I'm on pins and needles as it is already. And I think going into next year, it's going to be even worse, because you got Alvin Kamara suspended, Derrick Henry coming off an injury, Christian McCaffrey coming off an injury, Saquon Barkley coming off a rough year.
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook coming off an injury. Like, you got a lot of question marks. So, like, you're going to have to go into this season almost thinking, all right, let's just take it all at face value. Let's take the shot. I got the pick right now. Who could benefit the team the most when healthy? But that also is a bit of a weird logic for me, because by that rule of measure, if Christian McCaffrey fell to me, by that logic, I'd have to draft him, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not. Me and Christian McCaffrey have beef. I'm sorry. Look, he might be a great person, but Christian McCaffrey, I traded Tyreek Hill and another great player, Chris Carson. Traded both of them for you, and you went down and scored me 3 points, man. 3 points. Come on. That was probably one of the worst moments I've had in fantasy football. I've made the trade like 3 hours before the game. Probably the most unlucky trade I've ever made. Look, Christian, if I were to draft you and you did well, be squashed. Simple as that. Or, you know, if you come on the show, something like that, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
but other than
beef
that,
would probably be over at that point.
Other than that, definitely not going to be drafted. I'm probably going to have to draft the LSU boy, Clyde Edwards. Me and Clyde talked at the spring game, and he told me to draft him again, and we're going to go ahead and stick to that promise I made to him. Hopefully he goes out and balls out for me. I know he will. Them LSU boys always are some dogs. Maybe I'll pair him with Leonard Fournette, and we'll have a LSU duo in the backfield going crazy, because at this point, I don't know. Who else I feel comfortable drafting?
It's not looking bright.
What would you do if you had, man, my best pick in the draft? It would have to be honestly 7 through 10. I'd want one of those just to have a closer second round pick. Let's say I get pick number 9. Let's be realistic here. We know Derrick Henry's gone. We know Christian McCaffrey's gone. I feel like I would have potentially an Aaron Jones to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a James Conner. Maybe who else we got here, man? James Conner's going to start, bro. You got to think who we're going to have, bro. You're not going to have
your first round pick, James Conner.
Brother, I'm picking a running back. I got to pick the best running back off the board. I'm going to be pick number 9. 8 people picked a running back in front of me more than likely. I'm just saying, we got to prepare for the worst.
Number 1 option at that point, brother.
Maybe. Aaron Jones, maybe. But will he last to number 9?
Jones, yeah.
Look, if I get that and I get a crappy James Conner, I'm like, man, give me that wide receiver. Give me Cooper Kupp.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think I'm gonna force myself to pick a running back first round if it's a situation like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going wide receiver.
Man, I'm worried for the day that I open that fantasy draft app and I get the worst pick. I get like pick number 1, and then I go out there and then what do I even do in that situation?
I was thinking that when you first started saying your favorite pick, I was like, oh, number 1, but like, who you even get this year, bro? Like, there's no clear front runner because
I would almost they're hurt or just rough. I would almost rather see someone else make the first 2-3 picks, kind of feel it out, see what they want to do.
Me too.
I want to see someone else make some bad decisions first. I don't want to be the only one.
For sure.
Because if I had the first pick right now, I'd have to go Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. He's the only guy that's really healthy and that I think has a really good future ahead of him. And he's got Matt Ryan as a quarterback now, so they're running the ball a lot. Because Matty Ice likes to, give presence to the other team in form of interceptions.
Yeah, or Matty Ice, man. He's real free with that, especially in fantasy football.
Matty Ice cold in the playoffs.
Yeah, bad.
It's going to be rough. He's got a rough... I mean, look, that division might be a little easy, I guess. They got a Jazz, got a Texans.
Different than what he was playing beforehand. So, I mean...
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't win in that division, but at the same time, nobody else besides the Bucks win that division for at least another year or two. You think the Saints got a shot?
No, okay.
You're not going to have your running back one for 6 weeks.
They could have maybe the past couple years, but...
Last year, you think they could have?
Jameis Winston is just so he's so spotty, man. Like I can't put all my confidence in him.
If I had to grade Jameis Winston A through F, I'd give him a C+.
If he didn't tear his ACL, I'd probably give him at least a B, maybe even higher.
You give him an A?
Maybe an A-. You're
gonna have to explain to me right now why you rate Jameis Winston an A.
Oh, you put me on the spot there.
Yeah, because I got to hear this one.
I like the fact that he's mobile. He's a good leader for the New Orleans Saints, He helped them beat a number of teams. Like I said, I felt like they could have won that division for sure. But, he's just injury prone for sure. I mean, there's no way I can give him higher than something like that. Like I said, if he didn't tear his ACL, that's one thing. But right now, I mean, that's a complete hypothetical. I couldn't do that right now.
I think that the ACL thing's not even my biggest worry with Jameis Winston. My biggest worry with him is the fact that he had the first 30 for 30 season. The fact that you can throw 30 interceptions in a season really makes me question your decision-making skills and just your football IQ in general. As a quarterback, that's probably your most important thing about you. Not only that, though, but it seems like Jameis Winston might not be the answer because take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for example. They were one quarterback away from a Super Bowl the very next year. What are the Saints? You know what I mean? Very talented team, but are they a quarterback away from a Super Bowl? I'd say so if you put him with a Justin Herbert or whatnot, or give him somebody like crazy. Yeah. Dude, I'm going to go place a bet on the Saints and win the Super Bowl right now if they make that trade. That's crazy. Chargers are set with another franchise quarterback. All the teams that are set in the NFL now, they found their guys.
Yeah.
You got the Bengals got their guy. You got the Chargers got their guy. I mean, Packers got their guy for another, 3 years. It's a 1-year deal. He's probably retiring after this season. That's my bet. Aaron Rodgers, after this year, it's going to be some rough times without his old buddy, Devontae Adams. I think that Aaron's going to hang it up. And, I'm not going to blame him. I'm going to agree with it. If we can't win it after this year, He's a great player, but it's just not working out, whether it be the money, how the team's situated, what he wants, what the team wants. I don't know what the case may be, but if we can't win and he drops his playoff record to, oh, man, I don't even know what it would be. It'd be like Drew Brees sitting at 500 probably.
Man, Drew Brees.
What's he, 9-9 in playoffs? Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
It's pretty bad, man.
He's a household name down here, man, but I really question where he would be all time.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited to see a couple of all-time great QBs, though. We're going to be heading into the Manning Passing Academy here soon. We're going to see Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, and even Arch Manning at the Manning Passing Academy in Thibodaux. It's going to be this week, Thursday through Sunday. They got some chances of rain, but I'm pretty overall thinking it'll be a good day. Get some good content, see some good talented people, see some good legends. I'm interested to see how it's all going to be laid out. But, it's right here at the campus, Nichols State in Thibodaux. Pretty close to home.
Real close to
Man's
home,
a student over there. He's shouting out the alma mater, dog.
The Colonel's son.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep, man. We're going to go. Man, I can't wait to be. I feel like I'm going to be filming everything. I feel like I'm going to be just.
Brother, you got to.
Every single moment. It's going to be cool.
So much, yeah.
We're going to document that. I got a video coming up soon that we're going to work on. We're going to pretty much break down LSU's football season for next year, the 2022 season. LSU's looking red hot. I think LSU could potentially make some noise next year. It's promising. Brian Kelly came in and cleaned house, but he rebuilt it. Looks pretty. Nice mansion he's got, it looks like. The LSU Tigers, it seems like their offense is getting their foundation. They need that quarterback question to be answered. They might have it answered already, and they're just, not telling anyone. I'd imagine the summer camp would be probably the final straws of the competition. They say it's a 4-man competition. I definitely don't think Walker Howard has a shot, so we're going to narrow it down to a 3-man competition. Most talented quarterbacks are going to be Garrett Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels. So personally, my personal opinion is it's only a 2-man competition. And now when you break it down, you're going to have Jaden Daniels, who transferred from Arizona State with the intention of starting. So what was told to him by Brian Kelly before? I get things could change, but if Brian Kelly was leaning towards him before the spring game, how much weight would the spring game performance hold in his opinion? I don't know. In my opinion, it holds a lot. I think Nuss flipped the script. Before the spring game, I was going to say Jaden Daniels 1, Nuss number 2. After the spring game, with the way Nuss moved the ball down the field, with the way he was accurately hitting his guys, he seemed like he was not only comfortable behind the pocket or under center, he was also comfortable making decisions. And those are my big 2 question marks with Garrett from last year. He answered those 2. The offense seems to gel with him. One of the biggest targets is probably one of his closest friends on the team. That's going to play a big role in the team chemistry. I would lean towards the Nuss bus. I'd be a part of the Nuss bus for this year. I think that LSU would succeed. That defense is looking rough. You got a lot of guys at LSU that are ready to win. He really found a team that bought in, and the culture has almost changed quick. It's changed. I think I would put this team top 5 next year.
Yeah, that is.
They'd finish top 5.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I think that LSU. There's one thing that LSU does more than any team, no matter the year, and that's build hype.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see all these hype videos coming up, leading up to the game. I can't wait to just have another Saturday night, have the whole campus packed, have the lights turn on, and just be able to walk into the stadium and just chill. That's probably one of the coolest atmospheres in all sports, not to mention college football. Definitely the best atmosphere in college. But I'd argue that is probably the best atmosphere I've ever had in a sports environment. I've been to plenty of different sports games. I think it's just not only is it the fact that you hear all the hype and all the build up prior. Like I said, they do one thing, it's build hype.
Right.
But then all the traditions, I feel like college football is very traditional. They got a lot of things they do, whether it be this type of music or even the things the fans say or whatnot. Like there's a lot of cool values that stick with it. And I think LSU does a great job with it. Everything is traditional there. I mean, we got a live tiger across the street. We got piece of an old goalpost with the word win strapped across it that all the players hit on the way out. That has been a thing for the past decades, even longer. You got all the trophies that LSU has won and obtained throughout the room. Constant reminders of greatness. I mean, they were arguably the greatest team of all time, not even more than 4 years ago. They got a lot of good values left in that building. I think the athletic director, Scott Wilbur, made a good choice with parting ways with Coach Orgeron. I think it was hard for a lot of people to accept that first. Seemed like it was a weird move because, they were fresh off that national championship, but all good things come to an end, and hindsight will be 2020 with this decision, I believe. I think Brian Kelly was the proper choice. I mean, sure, there was a lot of great choices. You had the Lincoln Rileys. You had a lot of guys that raised a lot of eyebrows. Even that Billy Napier from a couple hours away with UL Lafayette. But in the end, Brian Kelly, I think the path presented itself with him and LSU, and he was all aboard. He left Notre Dame in the middle of a potential championship run. They could have made it if someone got upset.
That is true.
So I think the fact that he's all in that hard, a lot of people are saying, yeah, true colors, this, that, are going to come out and whatnot. And a lot of people are just upset in general. I think from what I've seen with Brian Kelly through my interactions with him and my time talking with him, he's a pretty cool guy and he's a pretty structured guy. And that value and that skill as a head coach is probably the most important thing. You don't got to be a drill sergeant. You don't got to scream at him. But the fact that you can have everyone on the same page at the same time doing the same things every day, you can put them in a routine, you can keep them consistent, that helps you win. Because when you consistently do something great, then that's when you're going to get your top 5 seasons where you're breaking into the playoffs and whatnot. Brian Kelly is the most accomplished head coach LSU's ever hired. And the last 3 head coaches LSU's hired haven't won a national championship. So now you get number 4. You don't think he's going to continue on with that streak? I'm comfortable saying that as a sophomore at LSU, class of 2025, I think before I leave, I'm going to see a national championship. Yeah. There's no way around it.
I feel like it's a safe bet.
Brian Kelly, he showed me a lot of great things. I think LSU sports is just on a great upturn in general. Kim Mulkey with the women's basketball, greatest women's coach of all time, and she's going out there and just flexing muscles in the women's basketball. First, that was the fastest turnaround by any SEC coach in their first year in any sport last year.
That's remarkable, honestly.
Jay Johnson with the baseball team, sure, it fizzled out, but man, with his first year with his boys, they arguably, outshined a lot of people's expectations. There was a lot of problems with LSU early on. I didn't expect them to go far. I'm not really that disappointed with it. I think they showed me enough. They showed me enough to where I'd feel comfortable, at least thinking they're going to be an upturn. Matt McMahon, I'm saving the best for last with this. I think the LSU basketball team, look, Brian Kelly and them, the Golden Gooses football, and it's definitely great that the football team got readjusted. But I'll be honest, I expected that. Yeah. I did not expect the basketball team to completely revamp their roster and shake back after potentially getting sanctioned. Like we don't know what's going on with the postseason. Could get banned 1 to 2 to 3 years. Who knows? And you're still getting good recruits in. You get Adam Miller back. You get Milwaukee Wilkinson back. You get a lot of. You even got guys from Murray State following the coach. That speaks volumes about him. Plus, the guys he's recruiting, I'm going to trust that they are good picks because he saw, the diamond in the rough with John Morant.
Oh, yeah.
Who else is he going to see? This man, Matt McMahon, first time I ever got to see him was the introductory press conference right when he arrived on campus. He brought his family there and all, and he just really laid it all out on the table, saying that a lot of people loosely use the word team and culture and whatnot. Nobody really understands what it means, and he was just saying he wants to build a team, and a team would be someone that is, a group of people that are all directed for one common goal, and they're all, on the same page at all times, like we were saying with Brian Kelly. That's a big problem that LSU has had in the past, whether it be with Orgeron or Will Wade. At times it seemed like there wasn't a lot of cohesiveness amongst everyone, which is what is probably the most vital thing to a sports team. This is your family. You're going to see these people more than you see anybody else.
It's true.
So at times I'm sure it was rough, but they made it out. I think all these sports teams, like I said, they're on the way up. LSU football is going to go ahead and surprise a lot of people next year. So I'm going to go ahead and expect big things from them. I'm expecting big things from from a lot of people. One of the people is going to be the guy we're going to have some footage of, Arch Manning. I'm excited to see where he'll commit to. I'm expecting big things from him. I mean, look at his uncles, bro. They blazed the way for this, man. Bunch of trailblazers. An old family. It's a dynasty. The Manning family. Just everybody's an ace or a sniper with the football or whatever the case may be.
Bunch of magicians.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see that. Manning Passing Academy. You can follow us on TikTok at Vernon Verdict and on Instagram at Vernon Verdict. We'll be posting live updates, and we'll even be going live on Instagram at the beginning of each camp just to kind of survey the field and whatnot. We also have a video coming out where we'll be talking about, a little more in depth about LSU. Like I said, we're going to break down, game by game and kind of just give an analysis and a preview of what I think LSU will do. And I guess we're going to have to look towards a part 2 of that drive-through video. Drive-through video, everybody seemed to think it was funny, I guess, man. We put ourselves out there for that one, bro.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true.
And we can definitely branch off of that, though. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll put the link in the description. It's our most recent upload. We asked drive-through workers where they'd rank Steph Curry all time. And the reactions were priceless. My best one was probably the Walmart one, but a close second would be Burger King. And then McDonald's, we all know how McDonald's employee would probably respond, man. McDonald's, we gotta get some friendlier employees, man. Only one that wouldn't answer out of all the 5 places, man.
She was not entertained.
It's all good. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we'll keep that one in the works. Y'all tweet at us or, even DM us on different ideas you think we would do for questions for the drive-thru. We can kind of do a mailbag episode. And, yep. So look forward for that. Look forward for the Manning Passing Academy at the end of this week. We got an LSU video coming out middle of this week. And we got another live stream coming at you Sunday at 7. This has been the Vernon Verdict. Thank y'all for spending your Sunday evening with us. Y'all have a good one.